Hi grade 7, I hope you are fine guys, I really miss you. In today's video we will start the first lesson in fourth quarter about the grammar. Actually we have finished the last quarter or the third quarter, chapter 4 and chapter 6, and this quarter we're gonna take only chapter 5, chapter about the phrases. We're gonna know what is the phrase and what kinds of the phrase, as we see here, prepositional, verbal, and a positive phrase. So let's start and know what is the phrase first. The phrase is a group of words that related words used as single part of speech and that doesn't contain both a verb and its subject. Group of words that doesn't have one of two, subject or a verb. Let's go to the examples. It will explain more easily. Could have been. Could have been. Could is a verb. Have verb. Been also verb. We don't have any subject here. That's why I can say it is a phrase. Let's go to the second example. Instead of Deborah and him. Instead of Deborah and him. Do we find any verb here? Actually, there is no verb. Instead of Deborah and him, there is no verb. That's why it is a phrase. So the phrase is a group of words that doesn't have one of two, verb or subject. We can see here could have been hiding. The same idea. Could have been hiding. All these are verbs. That's why I can say it is a verb phrase. No subject. Let's go to the next one. In the kitchen. In the kitchen. Here we have a preposition and the subject of the preposition, and there is no verb at all. That's why also it is a phrase. To go with them. To go with them. The same idea. There is no subject or verb. No subject or verb. Some of you will think that go here works as verb. No, it is not a verb. It's infinitive, and in infinitive it works as a noun, not a verb. So to go with them is like going with them, and it works as a noun, so it is not a verb. So here there is no subject and there is no verb, and the phrase also can be it has no subject or verb. So for the last time I want to say the phrase is a group of words that doesn't contain both a verb and its subject, or the verb or the subject. Let's go to the first type of the phrases. It's the prepositional phrases. What is the prepositional phrase? It's very easy. It has the preposition and the object of the preposition. The preposition, as we see here, to, at, and instead of. To, at, and instead of. To the pool, at the Jackson's house, and instead of them. To preposition, the pool, object of the preposition, and do not forget that the object of the preposition is one of two, noun or a pronoun. At the Jackson's house, it should be at the Jackson's. Ask yourself, it should be at the Jackson's or at the house? Actually it is at the house. That's why house is the object of the preposition. You will ask me, what is Jackson? Jackson is the noun that modifies the house. So when I ask you which house or at which house, you will tell me at the Jackson's house. So Jackson here, but modified house or what modified object of the preposition, is also part of this prepositional phrase, because any modifier for this object is part of the prepositional phrase. the third example, instead of them, as we see, instead of the preposition, them, the pronoun works as object of the preposition. The same under the umbrella, among good friends, for ourselves, next to them, all the same thing. I think we understand now the idea of the prepositional phrase and of the phrase generally. Do not forget that the prepositional phrase doesn't have subject or verb. Here, that's the noun. What is the noun here? Function, as we see, it's the object of preposition. It is not working as a subject, it is not working as a verb. So, exercise 1, guys, let's identify each of the following group of words as a phrase or not. If it has subject and verb, so it is not a phrase. If it doesn't have one of these two, subject or a verb, or it doesn't have both of them, so it is a phrase. When you know, alright, you with the subject, know the verb, so it does contain you and know, that's why it's not a phrase. As they walked in, as they walked in, they, subject, walked, verb, that's why also it is not a phrase. In the garden, in the garden, in is a preposition, the garden is object of preposition, that's why I can say it is a I will underline it as a phrase. Is sleeping. Then you will ask me, who is sleeping? So there is no subject here. Actually, there is a verb, is sleeping, but there is no subject. That's why also I can say it is a phrase. How she remembered. How she remembered. She is the subject, remembered is the verb. So it is not a phrase because it does have both subject and a verb. After we eat. After we eat. We have the subject, we, eat the verb, that's why also it is not a phrase. Smiling brightly. Smiling brightly. Do we have any subject here? Smiling is the verb, brightly is an adverb, and there is no subject, that's why also it is a phrase. To the supermarket. To the preposition, the supermarket is the noun that had the function of object of the preposition. That's why there is no subject, there is no verb, and it is a also phrase. Your homework is gonna be number 8, 9, and 10. 8, 9, and 10. Let's go to just have. Before we go to exercise 2, we need just have to tell you some notes about the prepositional phrase. Preposition plus the object of the preposition. Let's see the first example. Liam Fan had the lead in the school play. Look guys, what is the prepositional phrase? In the school play. In the preposition, play is the object of the preposition, and the school is this noun what modifies play, so actually it is part of the prepositional phrase. Let's go to the second one. Standing between them. Standing between them. What is the preposition? Between. What is the object of the preposition? Them. What is the prepositional phrase? It is between them. Do not forget guys, that the object of preposition is one of two, noun or a pronoun. Here it was a noun, here it is pronoun. Note number 2, any modifier that comes between the preposition and its object is part of the prepositional phrase. As I showed you here, school came between the preposition and the object of the preposition. That's why it is part of the prepositional phrase. Into the thick mist. Into is preposition, mist is the object of preposition. When I ask you which mist, you will tell me the thick one or the thick mist. So thick here is modifying mist, and it is part of the whole prepositional phrase. An object of prepositional phrase may be compound, so it might be not only one object of preposition, it might be 2, 3, and so on. So come with Rick and me. Come with Rick and me. Here with the preposition, Rick, object of preposition, and it is noun. Me is also object of the preposition, and it is a pronoun, and both of them are the object of preposition, or I can say compound object of preposition. So when I ask you what is the prepositional phrase, you will tell me with rock or with Rick and me. With Rick and me. So let's get down to exercise number 2. Identify the prepositional phrase in each of the following sentence. The example here, many soldiers fought bravely during the Vietnam War. What is the prepositional phrase during the Vietnam War? Number 1. One of these soldiers was Jan C. Scruggs. Tell me, what is the prepositional phrase? First thing we need to think about or to look for is the preposition. So what is the preposition here? It is of. Of. And what followed of these and later soldiers. So which one of them is the object of the preposition? Yes, it is soldiers. And these is a pronoun that modified soldiers. So the whole prepositional phrase here is this 3 words of these soldiers, and I will underline it. Number 2. When the war was over, he and others wondered why there was no national memorial honoring those who had served in Vietnam. Let's again look for the preposition. Do we have any preposition here? Actually, there is no preposition. The preposition here we can find in Vietnam. So in the preposition, Vietnam, object of preposition, and that is the prepositional phrase. Scruggs decided he would raise funds for a Vietnam veterans memorial. So guys, also what is the preposition? For a Vietnam veterans memorial. I can say here it started with this for. So for a Vietnam veterans memorial, the whole of this is the prepositional phrase. Alright, it should be for a memorial. So memorial is the object of preposition, and both of them, Vietnam veterans, are modifying which memorial. The memorial would include the name of all American men and women who were missing in action or who had died. So I can see here also the preposition of all American. The same idea. Of an American. American is the object of preposition, and of all American is the prepositional phrase. Do we have any other one? No, we don't have. Number 5. Organizing the project took years of great effort. So it took years of effort and great modified effort, so it is part of the prepositional phrase, and I will underline first of, then I will underline great effort. Number 6. Many different people contributed their talents to the project. So where is the prepositional phrase? I have here to is the preposition, project is the object of preposition, so to the project is the prepositional phrase. So we have finished the first part of chapter 5, the phrases, and the next video will be the second part, and it is gonna be about the verbal phrases. Your homework will be starting from number 7 till 10. Which page? Page 91. So 7 till 10, page 91. Thank you very much for your listening, and I hope